Hey everybody, welcome back. So happy to be here and so happy to be of help. And I hope this video is as helpful to you as it would have been to me when I was asking this question. How do you deal with a difficult boss? And most people just look for the exit door, or many other various approaches. But I want us to think in a more straightforward fashion about what exactly is happening here. Not just the boss-employee relationship, but what is the organizational flow of your business? If you have a boss, you're obviously in a business. Unless you're a part of a very small business, there's probably someone over that boss. And let's just think one level. Let's keep this as small as possible. What do you know about the relationship between your boss and their boss? Or maybe not relationally specific, but just in the organization. What is your boss in charge of? Obviously they're in charge of you, but what are they measured on? Are they measured in productivity, units delivered, efficiency, profit? What do they, and this is the trick, what do they keep hammering you about? Or what do they say in front of the team that they're looking at? That's probably what someone right behind them is saying, you need more profit. Well, I think we need to increase our profits, guys. This is, I really need to get this under control. You know, it's probably directly the meeting they had 5 minutes ago as to what their boss said was priority is what they're telling you priority is. So that might be a telltale sign there as well. And when you're trying to understand what is being asked of your boss, the second point is finding a win for them. Really, the way to better your relationship with your current boss is to make them look better. And I know that's the last thing that you want to hear. Or at least it was for me at different times, much to my own shame, but I'm human as well. As much as you'd like for them to be removed from the equation sometimes, or fired, or just transferred somewhere else so you don't have to deal with them, no matter what boss you have, you got to get used to thinking in terms of what's a win for them. How do I make them look good? And if you think in those terms, you start to not only understand the humanity of what they're dealing with, but you are left with a very valuable tool. Because really, if you're someone's boss and they are making you look good, that they're on your team, even if you're not directly coaching them to be a success, the very fact that they're on your team, as anyone who's been involved in sports knows, if they're on your team and they're hitting home runs or scoring points, who cares? Especially if that's your team that you're coach about, it still looks good for you. But this last point can be the crucial thing that you might be looking for. That if you're thinking of moving ahead in your organization, what will be your new relationship with your boss? Because it's very unlikely, unless you're transferred to a different location, or if you're in a completely different department that has nothing to do with your boss, even if you think silly enough that your boss, that you'd be their boss, very likely they're not going to change up the organization dramatically in that fashion, because that causes a lot of relational stress. And as good of an employee as you think you are, the sheer cost of relationships and political nature of business will probably prevent that, at least in the short term. So really, whatever your next move is, you're probably going to be just as close, if not closer, to your difficult boss. So really, if you're not thinking of things from their perspective, and in that thought, thinking of ways to make them look good, no matter which way you want to move, if they're still there, you may be even closer to that difficult person. So even if you don't see necessarily eye to eye, and if your aim is to stay with this company and to be promoted within this company, there's probably a few moves, as long as they're at that facility, as long as they're within the same business that you are in, it's probably 2 to 3 career moves before you're safely out of their blast zone. So if this company really means that much to you, if this industry really means that much to you, you're going to have to play ball. You're going to have to play the game with them as a teammate. If you play the role successfully and someone above them promotes you to a same level, wouldn't you want to see someone promoted that has been helping you? And in that vein, let's take it the wrong way. Let's take it the standard way. If you're a part of a new organization, especially many young professionals, we feel it's our job to shine. And especially if we feel that we can do our boss's job better than they can, it's our duty to just blow it out of the water and showcase our talent. But think of it realistically. Let's say you're just a fantastic person and it would take A month and a half. That's pretty fast in business terms. We're doing a lot of things. Let's say it takes a month and a half for you to showcase, 6 weeks for you to showcase to your boss's boss that you could probably do their job better than them. Let's put yourself in your boss's position. At week 2, week 1, you have a great week, and all of a sudden your boss is looking to your worker as pretty competent. At week 2, they start to maybe even kind of trace into making some of their decisions on their own without you. Literally, you think you're going to go 2 weeks as their boss without trying to put a tripping mechanism in there or slow their progress or get them on something else? I mean, if you feel your job is in jeopardy, I'm sorry folks, we're all human. And everything inside that person will be pushing them towards self-protection. This is an unspoken, and unfortunately unspoken reality of any business, any relationship within an employment situation. There's a lot of relationships, there's a lot of people involved. And to really move up in an organization and further your career within a business like that takes a very fine hand. And it's not as simple as doing a good job. In fact, that might even get you fired. Because I don't care who you are, I don't care how great you are at your job, you're always doing something relatively under par that if someone could make that the focus, they can showcase the worst of you instead of the best of you. And if nothing else, when you're dealing with a difficult boss, try to think of where they fit into the organization. Try to think of what's a win for them, because whether you think you can get promoted or get to a different department, most likely, unless it's an absolutely huge organization, you're still going to be working with this person. So even if they're not directly over you anymore, they still want to feel that you're not a threat. So with that in mind, hopefully you have a few extra tools on how to understand your boss's position, and you're better equipped to not only last them, possibly outlast them, and still move up in your career, continuing to turn your passions into profit. So I hope that's a help. I hope that answers your question when you're thinking about how to deal with a difficult boss. If it, of course, as always, if it made you ask a different question, please leave it in the comments below. And if we've been a help to you, let us know that as well. We want to know what's the best use of your time, because even if you're just investing 5 minutes with us, we want it to be a good use of your time. Hope that helps, and we'll see you soon.